Welcome back, guys. After many days, I again decide to make some more videos about the aptitude test. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about some formulas, obviously, some formulas about time and distance. So, the formula will be here about time and distance. We have talked about height and distance. Now, height and distance formula are mostly based on trigonometric applications, but time and distance formulas are the core mathematical part. Now, for understanding this time and distance, it's very basics of math. Now, in this case, you need to know the most important formula above all. What we need to know is what is speed. Now, what we know by speed is the total distance traveled over time, right? That's what we always mean by speed. So speed equals to the distance traveled divided by the time taken to travel the distance. That's called the speed. Now, if you understand this equation, you can derive more equation from this one. For example, I can derive another equation like, let's say, time. If I need to find what is time, so time simply is equals to distance divided by speed, right? And similarly, if I want to understand what is distance mean, distance equals to, you can see speed multiplied by time. So once you know this formula, that speed equals to distance over time, everything is so simple. Now, once it's done, the second thing that we want to study is a very important thing that is also required, because most of these problems are having challenges regarding the conversion of units, because they can give you kilometer per hour unit, sometimes they can give you meter per second unit. So it's always a good idea to keep all those units in the same format, because otherwise it gets a huge problem and you probably fail to get the answer. Now, for that reason, we need to convert kilometer per hour to meter per second. So how to convert kilometer per hour into meter per second? Now, you can go for systematic approach, that once you get the kilometer, you can convert it into meter by multiplying it with 1000. Then you can convert hour into second, then divide it. It's kind of very time consuming. So a single one-way approach to do that is simply, let's say, x kilometer per hour, it will be equals to x multiplied by 5 divided by 18. So 5 by 18, this meter per second. So simply whatever kilometer per hour value that they provide you, multiply it with 5 by 18, you will get the value into meter per second. Now similarly, once you need to find this value from meter per second into the kilometer per hour, so let's say x meter per second. Now we need to find the kilometer per hour value. For that, the answer will be again x multiplied by 18 by 5. is simply swap this kilometer per hour. So it's a one-way conversion. Simply multiply it with 5 by 18 if you need to convert it kilometer into meter per second. If you need to convert meter per second into kilometer per hour, multiply it with 18 by 5. So in this sense, it's there. So now the third formula that I'm going to talk about is not required for all the problems that we're going to solve later, but it is required for many of the problems, right? So let's solve this one. Let's look for this third one. Now the formula is the ratio of the speed. Suppose if the ratio of speed, say ratio of speed of A and B, suppose is A is to B, this is the ratio of speed. So small a small b are the speed, and capital A capital B are the person. So the ratio of speeds of person A and B is A is to B, which is small. So if this is the case, so the time taken by both A and B to travel the place will be, now the time, or ratio of time, I must say ratio of time of both A and B is going to be 1 by A is to 1 by B, or simply B is to A. Now this is very important. Always the time taken to cover the speed will be opposite, because you know speed, if you are having higher speed, you take less time to reach there. If you require more time, your speed is low, right? So that's why if you are having more speed, so speed ratio and the time ratio will be opposite or inverse, not opposite actually, inverse of each other. Now the last formula I'm going to talk about today is again not required in all the maths, but you might know that suppose a man covers a certain distance, because some problems you can find this thing, that a man travels a certain distance, suppose distance a, for the speed of x kilometer per hour, and that same person is traveling the same distance, or the same distance at y kilometer per hour, right? So a single man is traveling two distances, one at x kilometer per hour, another at y kilometer per hour, but remember the distance is same, which is a, right? So if the distance is same and the person is traveling that distance in two different velocities, in two different speed, then what is going to be the average speed of the person during the whole journey, right? So it's always it's kind of logical, because we never always walk to our an average constant speed. We sometimes walk fast, we sometimes walk slow, but the same distance traveled once at x kilometer per hour, another time y kilometer per hour. So the total speed or average speed for the whole journey for that single person will be the formula of 2xy divided by x plus y. So this is going to be the total distance traveled, and it will be obviously kilometer per hour. So the speed or average speed of this person in this whole journey will be 2xy divided by x plus y, that kilometer per hour, or whatever you need that will be, right? So these are the four formulas that we require, guys. No tough situation for the time and distance problem. We are going to solve 3 or 4 problems after that, but that's kind of it, and I hope that's helpful. Thank you.